All right, what's up, my geeks? Jeffrey Powers from Geekazine, Think Magazine. Put in a geek and you got me. Let me just move this over here and make sure that I'm streaming. Everything looks like it's good to go on streaming. We're happy. And do you have audio? Let's just hear it really quick. All right, what's up? There we go. All right, so if this is the first time you've come to the channel, thank you very much. I don't have the graphic ready, so I won't do that. But I want to let you know you can go over to geekazine.com, youtube.com/geekazine, and check out all the cool stuff. We've been doing this for about 20 years now, and I'm doing something new, and that is to go back in on Amazon. It's been a while. Not that I haven't been focusing on my Amazon channel, but things change. You're trying to figure out where the new latest and greatest is, and then when you do, you kind of forget that you have to do other things. So, and I want to try doing this a different way because I think that this is a great way to really get some deals out for you. So I went and I looked through the interwebs and actually the Amazon webs and found some of the great deals. So I think what's the Nope, that's not the right graphic. Sorry about that. I'll have to refigure out the graphics here. That should only take a second, right? Famous last words, right? Right? Right. I just have to bring this over here and bring this up and do this really quick. Give me 1 second. Oh. There we go. Now, if I do this, there we go. Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine is where you can go to find my channel. Come on, just do what I want you to do. Don't do that. Why is it doing that? Dang it. Ugh, frustrating. That's what happens when you're a one-man shop. Anyway, Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine is where you go for all the cool gear and stuff like that. So, yeah. That took a while. Anyway, if you want to find it, it's over here. This is the page where Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine is, and of course I have a lot of cool deals and things like that. I'm reviewing this right here, which is the You Want D600, which is a wet dry vacuum, and that's working pretty well. I've got a few other things in the shop that we're reviewing. We just reviewed the Aosu. We did the Aohai for charging. And what else? I got a few other reviews. We're going to be talking reviews outside of Amazon. I'm working on an app for Premiere Pro and DaVinci called AutoCut, which is pretty cool. What else we got? We got several things in the shop that I'm working on. I got a car dash cam that I'm finishing up that review on, and then a couple other things I can't think about right now. But some household items, some technology items, you get the idea. So anyway, once again, you can check that out. Amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. Of course, Geekazine.com, YouTube.com/Geekazine is where you want to go for all of that. So, all right, with that said, with that done, let's go ahead and get into the deals for today because we have a few of them and I'm pretty happy about what I've put together for you. And of course, I'm gonna try and do this every Tuesday. So if you go, and I'm going to turn down, there we go. I'm just going to slightly turn down the lights. It looks a little overblown. Get some deals. Of course, all those deals, all those links are going to be down in the show notes over at youtube.com/Geekazine. So you can check that out. And of course, if you say something in the chat and tell me what you're looking for, post July 4th. It is July 7th. And of course, we're going to start thinking about back to school. We're going to be thinking about what else? Back to school and Halloween and, of course, fall and all that other stuff. So we'll have some tech deals for you for your kids, for your students, and a lot more. So let's get started here. And we're going to start with, simply put, the Apple AirTag. Of course, AirTags are great devices to have. In fact, I just redid the batteries in all our AirTags because my wife is taking an Alaskan cruise. She did that without me. And that's okay because I actually have stuff planned here that I had to take care of. So there was no way I was going to do that. And for her, it was an unplanned vacation, and not laid off or anything like that. But it's a long story. It's her story. I won't talk about it. But the whole point is that she decided for those 2 weeks off that she's going to take an Alaskan cruise, and that's great. So I said, where are the AirTags? Do you have them in your luggage? And she said no. So what we did was we refreshed all the batteries in the AirTags, and so she knows where her luggage is. She can transfer those AirTags to keys or phones or other devices, purses, just in case something happens. But yeah, it's that's where she is right now, and I wish I could have joined her. I tried. I really tried to join her for next week, but it's just not going to happen. Not unless unless you guys just like buy everything 1,000 times over, and all of a sudden I get like a lot of money to book the flight. But anyway, so we have the QR code. As you notice for here, the QR code is going to be in the corner. So if you're watching on a TV, that's great because then you can scan the QR code and go in and get the product as well. So, but anyway, that's also an affiliate link. Of course, I am an Amazon affiliate. You can find me once again over at amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. All right, there we go. We've got the AirTags here. Now that I said all that, AirTag second generation. It's a tracker keychain. It uses a crowdsourcing option, so it pings off of other phones. So let's say that her luggage was in Timbuktu. It's okay because as long as there's a phone nearby that could ping off of it, that AirTag could be seen, and then she could be told, "Hey, your luggage is in Timbuktu and not on the ship." I hope it's on the ship. I'm pretty sure it's on the ship. She hasn't said anything. But anyway, these AirTags are great for a lot of things. It also, with AirTags, it also has an option, and I really like this option. And that is, I can't just throw an AirTag in her suitcase, one of my AirTags in her suitcase, because then she'll get notification that says, "Hey, there's an AirTag following you." And so there's a little bit of privacy on that, which is great. It does have the key finder up to 1.5x precision finding range. Second generation is really awesome. First generation was great to begin with. And we did video on that where I took my phone and took the AirTag and I just basically moved my phone closer, and it just kept just telling me the direction and of course the distance between the AirTag and the phone. So great deal for $29. It's on deal right now. You can check that. You can get the 1 pack or you can get the 4 pack. And when you get a 4 pack, that of course you can put one on your keys, one on your luggage, one on wherever. And you do have to change the battery. It's just standard CR2032 battery, which is a watch battery. And you can get those anywhere. But you're able to do. That's interesting. You're able to where was I you're able I had a little it said that there was a little error there, but anyway, you're able to watch and be able to find your luggage. And I use it on like the carousels, find out when my luggage is coming up so I don't have to sit there and wait. I call it the lottery of carousels. If I can get the first 6 bags is mine, I win the lottery. I don't know. But having an AirTag is great because you know where luggage is, where your stuff is, and be able to connect from there. So $29 for that. Of course, the 4 pack is $94.98. It's on deal today. Another deal right here is what's called the wall charger. I have one of these up in my kitchen. It's awesome because I have the ability to plug in different things. I have a tablet up there that's basically for anything like recipes or anything like that. I have the cat's water dish that's set up in here. I have Well, I have a couple other things plugged into it. You don't want to have high end appliances in there because that can overheat and that can cause issues. You're supposed to plug it directly into the plug, not through any type of power strip. This is a protected power strip. So basically, what you do is you take the little screw out of the plate, and you can. I think you can keep. Yeah, you can keep the plate in there, but you take the screw out, and then you put this in, and then you can screw it back in so it's nice and solid. It gives you 5 outlet ports. It gives you I'm sorry, 6 outlet. No, 5 outlet. Yeah. 5 outlet ports. It gives you 3 USB-A ports and 1 USB-C port to charge different things such as cat water dishes or tablets or anything like that. 23% off, 9.98 is great price. It's great to put around in areas where you have multiple use plugs. Um, where you're plugging in your laptops, your tablets, and everything like that. You'll be able to do that. And of course, it comes in multiple colors. You got a black, you got gray, you got white, and you can get that 9.98 right now. So a great deal for that. Let's move on. I just got done reviewing the AOSU, and you can see that over on Geekazine. So this is what it is. This is the AOSU camera. This is the T2 Pro, and we're talking about the T2 Ultra. I'll tell you the difference between the two in a second. It's really not much of a difference, but the whole idea is you have two cameras. You have the PTZ camera that'll go almost 360. It's basically got a 360 view, and then you have this 170-degree front cam that's watching everything, and then it gives you a split view. So if you have somebody coming up through your driveway, this can kind of spot it. The AI sensors will then say, hey, there's something going on, and then that camera will then turn around and allow you to see what's going on. So we did the full review. You can see that over at youtube.com/geekazine. But what this is the AOSU T2 Ultra. Now, that's basically just 4 of these cameras, and it comes with a base station. Now, if you got just one camera and you wanted a base station, you can definitely do that. You just basically attach it and say, hey, there's a base station involved. And then that way it doesn't record on the camera, it records on the base station, which is awesome because, let's say somebody decides to break down and remove your camera, the video is getting recorded and it's not on the camera, it's on the base station, so you can find out who did that a lot easier. It's got solar panels on top. Notice that this one doesn't have the solar panel. That's because they're detachable, and this is perfect for if you're in cold winter states. In well, winter, summer, the sun moves. So if during the winter that sunny area is all shady, you can then move the solar panel to another spot so you can continue to have power coming through it, or you can have it right on top of the camera. That makes this camera very versatile. You don't have to have a power source. So if you don't connect it up to the side of your house, that's great. In the video, I talk about how you can connect it up to watch the house rather than watch away from the house. So if somebody's coming up to the windows, you can see that. If they're coming up to the doors, you can see that, as opposed to attaching it like, over the front door. You get to see the sidewalk and you get to see the grass. And then when they start coming up to the door, that's when you start seeing things. So there's a lot of functionality. And of course, with a 4-pack, you can put them in different spots in the back part of the yard, in the front part of the yard. As long as you've got a good solid internet connection to get back to that base station, you're good to go. But you can also put in SD cards. So if there is an internet interruption, then you still have the video getting recorded. Now, this is at 28% off at $549. It's a great way to secure your home, secure your business with some powerful PTZ style uh, security cameras. So that's from AOSU, and they have several different models. You can also check out their channel. So basically, go to the page, go to the link below, click on that, and then go to the AOSU website to see if there are cameras that work better for you. Next up, let's talk about the Fifine Amplagame, another device I actually reviewed a little while back here. This is it right here. And then we're just going to do this really quick. There we go. There we are. So that is the Fifine D6 Ampligame D6. So what this is a device similar to like a Stream Deck, using basically Fifine software, and you can connect up multiple programs to it. You can have the computer do, yeah, like a button to shut down the computer. This one just turns it on and off because I don't have any program buttons on this laptop, but I wanted to show you this one as we go. Let's just do this because I think this is not focusing right. There we go. And then we'll refocus that. There we go. So you can set up different buttons to do different things, from gaming to turning off your laptop to turning up and down the volume and it really depends on what they have inside the software, inside the Fifine program, so you can attach to it and go from there. So this is a great deal. If you're looking for a multi-button system, you have the Fifine infrastructure as well. They make different types of hardware. And as you can see, we got buttons like Twitch and Steam and Photoshop, so you can open up those programs, run those from there. 15% off at $55.24. Comes in two colors, black and white. All right, let's move on from here. Obsbot. I couldn't find my Meet 2. I use the Meet 2 in a very interesting way. And it's an over the monitor camera, but as you can see, the base actually can detach from the camera. So, and of course, that's a standard quarter mount on the camera, so you can attach it to a tripod. What I do is Obsbot also makes a USB to NDI device. So basically, I can run this webcam as an NDI device from wherever. And when I do live concert recording, I'll sometimes put that where the drummer lives, or maybe the keyboardist, because it's a very small camera that does 4K that can look right at whatever I point it at. Now, here's the little caveat on here. This is also an AI framing camera, which means that you have to connect it up to a computer running the Obsbot software to say, hey, I don't want you to do any movement, or I do want you to do movement with the camera. But what I have is I have it nice and set as 4K, and I don't do any AI reframing on it. So I get a good picture, so I can do whatever I need to do with the recording. But you could set it on top of your monitor, and it has AI reframing. So it'll zoom in on you, and when you start to move around, it'll move around with you. A great device. It's got 60 frames per second. So if you're connecting up on a Zoom or a Teams call or anything like that, it's going to give you the best quality possible. And the one thing I like about these external cameras is that if you detach it, if let's say you got a laptop and that's got a camera, which is great, but the biggest problem with that is a lot of times our laptops, we have to readjust the lid so the camera can see us in a proper frame, and then the lid's in a really weird spot. With this, I can attach it to a small tripod, put it onto the desktop, and then have it see me, and then I can use the laptop. It doesn't shake or anything like that. And of course, with the additional ability to capture sound and do noise cancellation on it, you don't need to have a microphone. It's best if you do have a microphone, but if you don't have that available, then at least you'll have something that'll capture your sound. And of course, when you start tapping on the keyboard, since that's separate from the laptop, most people will not hear tippity tippity tap as much as they would as if you were using the camera on the laptop. So 23% off, $99. This is a great deal for a camera like this. I've done camera setups where I've done multi-camera setups with Obsbot cameras. And when the Talent came out, excuse me, which is this device right here. It's in the case that I found, but this is a multi-camera hardware switcher. Here it is. Let's pull that out. Maybe. Oh, it's on a strap. Yeah. All right, there we go. So that's the device right there. And this is great for, there's two HDMIs on there. And then, of course, you can put in a couple of USB cameras, but then you can do switching from this device rather than a computer. And I've gone out to like a park and I've shown how that worked on a couple devices. And of course, using the USB cameras helps keeping everything small. And this is not the case that it comes with. I found this once again on Amazon. You can find a lot of things on Amazon, but it fit perfect. I think this case was for a Switch or something like that. But there we go. We'll set that there. But the whole point is that we have a device that is small enough for you to do any type of streaming or recording. It's not attached to your computer. So, and if you don't have a computer nearby, you can still use it. The only thing is, once again, you will have to connect it up to the computer to set the settings. But then once you set them, you can unplug it and it'll remember those settings. And that's what I like about this. So that's the Meet 2 4K webcam for PC with one half-inch sensor, AI framing, autofocus, and a lot more. All right. If you like what you see, if you like what I'm doing here, you can always send me a one-time tip over at venmo.com/Geekazine. We'll also talk about Patreon a little bit later, but send a one-time tip. Once again, there's the QR code, venmo.com/Geekazine. Next up, it's still summer, and this guy is going fast. It's the Iceman by Chefman Slush Ease Max 90-ounce slushy machine. So you put the ice in, you put the flavor in, and you can have a nice cherry slushy. You can have a nice blueberry slushy. You can do mocktails, you can do cocktails, you can do whatever, and have some fun summer drinks for you to wherever you go. 49% off at $179.95. It's you can do margaritas, frappies, smoothies, and just put it up on the counter. And then when it's not in season, you can wash it out, put it down in your storage, and then next summer you've got the slushy machine ready to go. Because we always have those days where it's like all of a sudden it's like 70 degrees, which usually should be like 30 or 40 or 50. And it's like, I'm wearing shorts and I want a cool drink. I want a slushy. And that's where the slushy comes in. So, but anyway, that's 49% off at $179. Let's move on from here. This is many different types of audio files. We'll probably enjoy this. As a musician, this next item is something that I wanted, and I'll definitely get this. It's from Lakato, and it's basically a wireless in-ear monitor system. It's 2.4 gigahertz. So, and if you're in a saturated area, that could cause issues with the connection, yes. But it is stereo, and a lot of these in-ear monitor systems that are 2.4 gigahertz are not stereo. This is one of the few stereo ones that I'm starting to see here. Now you'll need at least a 1/4-inch stereo or a 3.5-inch stereo. You can get an adapter if you need to connect it up to a XLR output, which will most likely make it mono. But if you are plugging into a soundboard, I have a soundboard where I have a headphone jack and a monitor jack, and I can plug this into there. Plus, I have two other auxiliary out jacks that are 1/4-inch jacks. So I could plug this in and get a stereo sound. And sometimes having that stereo sound really helps with understanding what's going on in the music. Now, here's another thing. Your TV also might have a 3.5 millimeter jack, or you have it attached to a stereo system or something like that. And that's got a headphone jack. Now, let's say it's like 11 o'clock at night and the family's trying to sleep. You can't sleep. You want to watch a movie and you don't want to have the TV too loud. So either you have it really low and you can't hear it, or you have it loud and everybody else complains about it. This kind of solves that because you'll be able to plug into your TV or your stereo system and then listen to the music, listen to the movie without bothering anybody else. Now, I'm not exactly sure. Sometimes these things have multi pairing to it. So you could also you might also be able to have two people paired to the same transmitter. Transmitter would go on the TV, receiver would be going to your ears. And if that's the case, then you could have two people doing that. I think that's yeah, I believe there is a option on that, but I'd have to double check on there. But 21%, 4654 is a great starting point for this. Now, this is not going to be pro audio stuff. In fact, it's 2.4 gigahertz. And like I said, signals can kick out. You got to have direct line of sight between the module and the transmitter and the receiver. And a lot of times these receivers get put in your pocket or on your belt clip on the back of your belt, and then it doesn't have that direct line of sight. So it cuts out every now and then. But for the most part, as long as you have something direct, then you'll be able to keep a general idea. So when it's time to listen to what's going on, you'll get at least 90% of it, as long as you don't have like 1,000 cell phones around you trying to get a signal to you. Another thing I always highly suggest is that it has a cord on it, so it doesn't have to be very close to your source. Let it hang from wherever it is, so it gets away from any other 2.4 gigahertz signal. But for the price, that is a great item to have, and I'd be using that for certain things. So I'm definitely going to be getting one of those and take a look at that. Next up is the Amazon Fire 10. Now, I don't think I'm using my laptop anymore, so I'm going to close this. I've been charging up my Amazon Fire tablets. I have a ton of these tablets. I don't know. Can you see that? There you go. I have a ton of these tablets that I use for a lot of different things. As a musician, when I have a sound person that has a board that's hooked up to the network, then I can actually call up certain software for this. So we'll just turn it on like that, and and I'd be able to mix. I have QSC Touch Mix, which I use for this, so I can call it up, and if I'm on the right network, then I can control my audio, set it up through my auxiliary or my channel, my in-ear channel, so I can actually hear things. This is a great secondary tablet. If you've got like a primary, or it's a primary tablet too, it's a great primary tablet, but it's also a great secondary tablet. So let's say you have like $1,000 iPad that you're using, and you want to give a tablet to the kids. That works perfect. If you need a secondary, I use 2 or 3 tablets at a time sometimes, especially when I'm out and about. I don't want to have laptops. I don't want to have desktops. I'll bring a couple of these fully charged, and then I'll run different things from listening to music to taking a picture to a lot of different things. And of course, there are many different apps through the App Store that you can load, from games to applications and whatnot. So you can check that out. We've got right here the Amazon Fire Tablet HD10 tablet. It's the newest model. It's $179. Let me just do this really quick because my air just came on. But yeah, you got the octa-core processor, 3 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage. You can increase that if you need to. There we go. You can increase that if you need to, and through his SD cards, and be able to do whatever you need to do. And I should have given one to my wife for the cruise, because then she could have loaded a whole bunch of Kindle books on, and then had something to read during the cruise, because she loves to read. She loves to read. I'd probably do the Audible and listen to the books while I'm on the deck. But that's where you can go. The Amazon Fire HD10 tablet, great tablet to have. And you can get, at the price, you can get 2 or 3 if you've got a family full of people that want tablets. Let's move on. Nice big TV. We actually, I work at a community center. I volunteer at a community center, and we just set up for a big event this weekend. And we needed to get a new TV because our last TV got smashed. And so we got the Hisense This is the 65 inch. I think we got the 55 inch. It's got QLED E6 technology in it. It's got a motion rate of 120, HDR10, adaptive game mode, plus a lot more. At 21% off, $377. It's showing FIFA World Cup, and of course, the United States just lost and are out of the tournament. But now, well, the tournament's still going, and you still have time for this, but there's always going to be an event where you need a nice big TV, whether it be the World Cup, whether it be baseball and the World Series, whether it be football coming. We're just less than a month away from the first snap of preseason. So you'll want a nice big TV, and Hisense is a great quality TV that gives you a nice crisp picture with Dolby sound. And of course, it's got Fire TV built in. So you'll have the apps, because some of these baseball games, some of these football games, you can only get off of streaming services. And of course, having Fire TV on there, excuse me, allows you to also get those, like the Peacock and the Paramount and that. So when the game is on that specific app, you'll be able to watch it from this TV. And the best part about that is there's only really one cord you need, and that's the power cord on there. So you can put it on a stand and roll it anywhere you need to. You could have it in the garage, you could have it in the living room, you could have it in the basement, you could have it in the bedroom. And I'm not a big fan of putting TVs on walls anymore, because I can get a nice rolling stand, and that way if I need to get the TV out of the way or use the TV somewhere else, like the bathroom, I don't know, that's came to my head. I can roll it in there and use it that way. So I don't know. I think it's a great deal to have. 21% off, $377.99 for 65-inch TV. It'll be nice. It might be a great upgrade for you. Our living room, I had a 50-inch TV in there. I did have a 70-inch TV at one time, but I moved and I wanted to kind of pare down. So the 50-inch TV was great. I got a 43-inch right here, but 65 will definitely immerse you in a lot of the movies when you don't want to go to the theaters to watch movies or TV shows. You can do it right there. So, all right, let's move on. And of course, once again, all of these links are down in the description there. So you can just see that and then click on. And of course, that helps me keep the lights on. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. Bougie RV, of course, I've reviewed these several times. This is the 12-volt refrigerator. They have several different models, some that are split zone models, some of them, depending on what you need. Some of them have wheels, some of them have wheels and handles, some of them are meant for going to the beach, some of them are meant to stay right here. The best part about this, and this is true story, I have one sitting right next to me in the living room. I can open it up, I can grab a drink, I can close it, and I don't have to walk to the refrigerator. It's 12 volts, so it's you can plug it into almost anything and let it go. If I plug it into one of my power generator batteries, it will keep going for pretty much a few weeks, because this is pretty low power as opposed to your regular refrigerator. If I plug the power unit into the refrigerator, I'd probably get about 30 hours at most. This would go a lot longer than that. But anyway, it's perfect for the boat. It's perfect for the RV. It's perfect for the just any type of travel. Let's say you are going to the family's, let's say the next holiday is Labor Day in the United States. You're going to a Labor Day party, or you're going to you're taking the kids to school. Then you have this, and you put all your cold stuff in there, and you put it in the car. It has the ability to plug into, I don't know, is it called still a cigarette lighter adapter or a utility adapter nowadays? Because you plug it into that, and then that'll keep going. That'll keep things cold till when you get to your destination. A picnic, a beach, like I said, put it on a boat and everything like that. And then you'll have cold drinks when you need them. Your sandwich meats, your cheeses, your mayo will stay in a nice temperature. And it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're at an RV or you're sitting right next to it in the living room. So 12-volt refrigerator, car fridge, 23-quart portable freezer compressor cooler with many different options. And it is $199.99, and it is on deal today. All right. Speaking of which, if you want to be part of the Geekazine Sconies, I call it, that's basically, if you're a Wisconsinite, you're a Scony. You want to be a Geek Scony? All you have to do is go over to patreon.com/Geekazine. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me keep the lights on, help me get speech lessons, I guess. And of course, you can be part of the Geek Sconies, and I appreciate it very much. But of course, we do have plans over the $1 mark, and I'm going to be revamping that very soon, so we'll have some better deals. So, because I need some good sponsors for some of these shows, because that's what also gets me to events like CES. Because now a lot of days past, I would get invitations to go to something, and then they'd pay for the travel, they'd pay for the hotel, and nowadays they're not doing that anymore. And so a lot of that stuff goes out of my own pocket. I told you about the going on a vacation trip. I was going to use the miles from my flights, but I used all those miles just to go to a conference 2 months ago. And that's, I had to be done. There's nothing I could do, but I wasn't able to make this trip, which was kind of sad. So by doing this, that helps me pay for things that I need to pay for, so I can talk to you guys about it and go from there. So, but anyway, that's over at patreon.com/Geekazine, patreon.com/Geekazine. And once again, that QR code, scan it right now. That QR code will get you there. And of course, if you're watching on TV, just hit the pause button and then you come back into the action in a second here. So, all right, let's move on. I'll do this for a minute. This was pretty interesting. If you want to celebrate the 250th anniversary, there's the anniversary coin, USA merchandise, uh, commemorative coin, $9.99. Once again, QR code right there if you want to scan it. It's of course Celebrate America with the anniversary coin right there. Vitamix is a blender. It's more than a blender. If you go to a lot of smoothie shops, they're usually using a Vitamix mixer in there. This is the 5200 blender. It's 15% off at $405. It comes in 3 different colors. It's got stainless steel blades. It allows you to do a lot of things. You can make smoothies, you can make soups. It's actually got a speed that if you let it run for a little bit, it'll actually make the soup hot. So if you wanted like a hot tomato soup, just let it run and it'll do that. Nice vegetable soup, let it run and it'll do that. It's got stainless steel blades. It's got self-cleaning. Use soap and water, turn it on. The water gets hot. The blender gets clean. And of course, it's got a 64-ounce container to it. So lots of different things you can do. 15% off at $405. It's well worth it for these blenders. Because once again, this is, if you go to a smoothie shop, most likely they're using something like this, maybe just a little bit more powerful to make your smoothies. Next up, we've got this Samsung 27-inch Odyssey OLED G6 gaming monitor. I saw a lot of this. This is the 27-inch model. This is perfect for your computer. I saw a lot of these at CES this year, and they are just amazing to take a look at. I wish I could show you what it looks like, but through a camera to your TV, that doesn't always work out as well. But it's got QHD technology, 240 hertz frequency with 0.03 millisecond latency to it, and a lot more. 3-year warranty. You can get a 240 hertz, that is the $399 at 33% off, or the 360 hertz if you're really into gaming and other things that just need that precision look and feel. and that's $693. You can, when you go to the page, you'll just on the bottom there, it says, you see where it says 240 and 360. You just click on the 360, it flips over to that page, and then you're good to go. So 33% off on the Samsung. And of course, you can hit that QR code so you can get to that device. Over the 4th of July weekend, my neighbors had one of these grills, and they were making ribs. And I usually had like the circular grills, and they're great for making burgers, but when you got to make something like ribs, something like this works a lot better because ribs are long. And as you can see, they're long. They work as a grill, they work as a smoker. They have wood pellets in it. And that's the other cool thing about this, is because with wood pellets, you can get that cooking without having to use lighter fluid. There's one neighbor that does have a regular circular grill, and they use just a ton of lighter fluid, and you can smell that in the air and you can taste that in the food. Get rid of it. I actually, when I with my circular grill, I had these little um, they were like little tumbleweeds that, and you can get those on Amazon as well. And then you put that in with the charcoal. I had a smoker. Still have the smoker, but you put that in, put the charcoal on top, you light it, and of course that will start the charcoal and go from there. But you'll have wood pellets here, and all you have to do is light up or set up the wood pellets. No lighter fluid needed. It heats up the main area. You cook your food. It's got a little smokestack there. I think you can also smoke stuff in here. It comes with a meat probe, a 6-in-1 barbecue grill. It's 450 degrees. Now, during the winter, it might be a little bit less than 450 degrees or take a little bit longer to get up there. But that's the other cool thing, is if you have that set and it's like really cold outside, you can really get it nice and hot, so you can get your food in and then go get warm, come back out and do some grilling. Many different ways to grill. 32% off, $499. A great deal for that. Of course, like I said, parties are coming up. Maybe back to school parties or whatnot. You might have social dances or anything that you want to help with. This is a great thing for anybody that's doing any type of community type parties. Like TV watch parties or movies. They set up the screen in their backyard, and then they have all the kids come to the backyard and watch the movies. You can get something like this, which is 5 pounds of individually wrapped candies. And I chose this one because it's got Skittles in it. I love Skittles. I love Twizzlers. The only thing that's missing is Smarties. I love Smarties, but it does have Sour Patch Kids. Kids love the Sour Patch Kids. I remember when Sour Patch Kids first came out, and I got into it, and it really killed the top of my mouth. But that's a different story. I still went on there. So Jolly Ranchers I saw in here. Swedish Fish is another good one. And of course, I don't know if those are Dum Dums or something else. We got Ring Pops and everything else. So 5 pounds for parties and gatherings. And so when your neighbors invite your kids to a watch party, you know, they'll have the popcorn ready, they'll have the soda ready, they'll and whatnot, and you can just bring this bulk candy so they can really go wild. Anyway, 10% off at $35.96. Great deal right there. Another great deal is going to Geekazine. This T-shirt's a little bit worn down, but this was my podcast T-shirt. There are many other T-shirts you can get, including the Geek AI. Before you geek out coffee, that's that first one on the corner there. You can get a Geekazine logo T-shirt. Born to Geek T-shirt, the Geek AI T-shirt. Another favorite is 80s Jesus Saved Me One Floppy at a Time T-shirt. You can get those over at the merch store, geekazine.com/shop/geekazine. Hit the merch button. Of course, the QR code will take you there as well. And you can get shirts. If you do get a shirt, take a picture and send it to me. Let me know you're wearing it, and I might feature you on a future show. So anyway, got a lot of great merch there. You can also get some merch if you're on YouTube. You can also check out the T-shirts down below. All right, couple more things and then we'll get you on your way here. First of all, the mushroom coffee. I've been dabbling with mushroom coffee because of the differences. I've not gotten away from my regular cup of coffee because I still need that. but I'll have a mushroom coffee as well. And I think it's given me more energy, but I'm not a doctor, nor can I make any medical claims. So, but it says that you can gain energy, you can gain focus, and help with your immunity, which is standard things that mushrooms also say that they can do. So this comes with 30 servings and of coffee, and of course it is 32% off. I think this is actually on lightning deal right now. 32% off at 14.99. 30 serves, so a month's worth of coffee to really boost up your immune system and your energy. So when you take a cruise somewhere, then or any type of trip, then you've got more energy and you've got more immunity in you, so you don't get sick during the trip or after the trip. So at least that's what it's saying right here. Once again, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV today. So 32% off at 14.99. And then last but not least, I'm a musician, I'm a drummer, and I've listened to this album several times. And they have a great vinyl collection on Amazon. And if you are into vinyl, this is an album. If you like drums, this is an album you want to have in your collection. It's called Mr. Drums, Buddy Rich, just a collection of his songs, of his music that you can listen with all the scratches and bumps and everything like that on original vinyl. So, actually, no, this is CD. There was a vinyl version. I guess I grabbed the wrong one, but there is a Buddy Rich vinyl out there. But you can go and you can check that on CD, on vinyl. They got a lot of great stuff here. But this is the CD of Mr. Drums. It's still going to be great to just sit back and listen and enjoy Buddy Rich. If you've never heard him drum before, then you are in for a treat because he is the original wild drummer. In fact, there was that one episode of The Muppet Show where Animal and Buddy Rich did a back and forth. And I still remember, I still have that on bookmark. So I can watch that every now and then. It's kind of like, with the Tonight Show, they had Chad Smith and Will, I just had his last name. Now I'm thinking about all the Wills that are on TV and movies. Will Ferrell, there we go. They did their drum off because they look so much alike. So, but anyway, that's it for me. Thanks a lot for watching. Once again, you can go over to amazon.com/shop/Geekazine. That's where you're going to go and check out all the deals. And of course, I have all the links down in the description if you go over to youtube.com/Geekazine. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, that bell notification. I'm going to try and do this every week on Tuesday. That's the plan right now, but we'll see what happens as we go. Because if I end up joining my wife on this vacation on the second half, if things just magically come together, then I'm going to do that. But other than that, I will see you next week, and a lot more on Geekazine and reviews. I'm going to get on live a lot more, and we got to talk about bit focus buttons. We got to talk about some other things that are happening, and so check that out. And that's why subscribing is so important. Till next time, you guys geek out. Thanks a lot for watching, and take care.